We're going to talk about a few different topics today. The first thing I want to mention is we have a golf swing retreat coming up in May of 2025. What I love about retreats, if they're done the right way, is that you get to learn things one-on-one and in person. And obviously that has tremendous value to it. But also, learning something in a fun environment is different. It sticks better. And there's something magical when it's really done right with a retreat. And Carmel by the Sea is a magical place as it is, and that's where the retreat's going to be. Also, you get a chance to collaborate with other people who are learning the same stuff, and you can sign up for it at theswingmechanic.com. Let's get into some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today. So the first thing is video of Freddie Freeman and his father. Obviously, Freddie Freeman won the World Series MVP award, and the guy is a great hitter. I think his swing is very good. Pound for pound wise, he's pretty decent. He's in the 400s pound for pound all time. He is 6'5", 220, and he hits 27 homers a year. That's good, and he's a phenomenal hitter. I think he's got a 142 OPS plus. I mean, he's headed for the Hall of Fame. Probably if he quit today, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. But, it's difficult with swing mechanics. People find it hard to separate, to really sift through what you need to sift through to find the best swings. I think the pound-for-pound equation is a great place to start. It's a great equation for sifting through all the muck, basically, that you have to sift through. I mean, let's look at Freeman and look at a guy like Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve weighs 167 and hit 20 homers this year. Freeman hit 27 in just a little bit less at bats. But, he weighs, so Altuve weighs more than 50 pounds less than Freeman. And you're talking about Freeman hit 27 homers and Altuve hit 20. Obviously, Altuve's the better pound-for-pound hitter. To me, if I was just looking at those stats, and by the way, Altuve has a better career batting average too. So, if I was just looking at their stats, I would bet that the smaller guy, Altuve, has a better swing. Now, having said that, let's kind of switch gears and talk about what this video says. His dad says in this video. And it's about going the other way. And I think in swing instruction, we have this tendency, again, because we don't have something like at least a lot of people don't know about the pound-for-pound equation. So people don't really know what advice needs to be followed. It's very confusing. It's hard to sift through everything and really find what is good advice. So what they do is the latest, greatest hitter, whatever he's doing must be right kind of thinking. And I think that's what's kind of probably going to go on with Freddie Freeman. You'll see more kids swinging like Freddie Freeman probably. What you have to know, though, is Freddie Freeman is lead arm dominant. So he has the tendency to have a great swing, but he's not really feeling the things that give him a great swing like most people out there need to feel. Right? So he just kind of, in other words, he kind of takes for granted the great feels and positions that he gets into because he's lead arm dominant. So let's play this clip, and again, it talks about going the other way and the importance of going the other way, which, as you guys know, I'm not in favor of.
What did you teach him as a youngster to hit? What were the simple things you taught him?
Just to go the other way. We had 3 buckets. 3 buckets, 48 balls, and the first bucket, no matter where I threw it, he had it at the left field. Second bucket, he could hit it up to center. Third bucket, you get hit anywhere you want, but you usually hit it to left field.
So, I mean, we hear this all the time, and you know, Freddie Freeman's one of those guys. He's got like a hybrid swing. It's very lead arm dominant, but then it looks like he bought into a lot of the conventional stuff. So it's a lot like Matt Olson's actually, where it's like I see a lot of lead arm dominant actions, but then I see actually a lot of kind of throw the hands, flip at the ball, which is what conventional instruction teaches. I respect Freddie Freeman's consistency. He's got a 300 lifetime batting average. I just think that he could do even better with a better swing. We'll take a look at his swing in a second. But this whole idea of going the other way, let's just talk about this because there are implications in this. First of all, I don't think that you should ever be trying to place the ball anywhere. That's ludicrous to me. I think the only goal when you're up at the plate is to hit that little white ball as hard as you can. Where it goes, who cares? It doesn't really matter where it goes. So that's number one. I mean, and this whole launch angle craze, I say the same thing about that. You shouldn't be trying to lift the ball because then you're trying to place the ball in a certain location. Just try to hit the ball as hard as you can. And the odds are going to play out if you do that. You're going to get your grounders, you're going to get your line drives, you're going to get your pop flies. But if you're trying to hit it as hard as you can and you're trying to square it up, basically you should be trying for a line drive, but not trying to place the ball in any specific location. So I'm against that, and I want to talk about the implications of this because when people say this, it's a very specific swing that they're implying that you should take. When someone says try to go the other way, they're saying throw the hands out, kind of that don't rotate the shoulders, throw the hands out and go the other way. You're slapping the ball. You're using more wrist than you should be. Again, Freeman is interesting because he's got like a hybrid swing, and I see this so often in these major league swings. And it looks like he would be, if he didn't spend so many years working on going the other way, he would probably have a swing that is more like, maybe not to the extent of Ken Griffey Jr., but more like Ken Griffey Jr.'s in that respect of just more lead arm dominant. But it looks like he's grooved so much like throwing the hands stuff. So again, it's like a hybrid mix. But he is lead arm dominant, so he's definitely got a lot of that working for him, really. What I would do with Freddie Freeman is I would try to get him to rotate a little bit more and throw the hands a little bit less. And we'll take a look at his swing in a second. But let's get back to going the other way. So the implication of someone saying try to go the other way, like a coach out there saying it, we know what he's implying. He's implying throw the hands and flip the bat and catch the ball just before the flip so it goes the other way. This is a huge mistake. I mean, it may not ruin hitters like Freddie Freeman, who are very lead arm dominant as it is, but for most hitters out there, it's not the feel you need. And this idea that you need to throw the hands to go the other way, it's just ludicrous. I mean, I posted a video on Instagram recently of Griffey, all these home runs that he hit going the other way. And he's very lead arm dominant. He just hit the ball hard. Yes, he pulled a lot of balls, but he also went the other way very well too. Here he is going the other way. You can see a lot of front humerus compression. People always say, oh, if you get a lot of front humerus compression, you're dragging the barrel and you're going to be a dead pull hitter, or whatever the terminology is. And it's just incorrect. Here he is going the other way. I mean, why wouldn't you be able to just go the other way with a very lead arm dominant swing? I don't understand why this swing in which you're throwing the hands has to be associated with going the other way. So here's Freeman's swing. You can see it's got a lot of characteristics of lead arm dominance. Right there, the barrel's very flat. He's got some front humerus compression there. This tells me his back arm is not overexerting at this point. But then it's like as he goes into contact, you see this kind of overexertion of the back arm. To me, this is just due to probably a lot of the work that he and his dad did. Now, again, is he a great hitter? Yes. You know, but we're isolating just swing mechanics here. This is where people, they wanted things to be black and white. They want to say, good hitter, must be good at everything, must be optimal. He's in the major, he was a World Series MVP, must be, you know, every single aspect of his game must be perfect. I think that, you know, 6'5", 220, that's working for him. That's huge. I think he's probably got great hand-eye coordination, great pitch recognition. As far as swing mechanics, I think there's still something to be desired. Now, having said that, I don't want people to think I think he has a terrible swing. No, so again, this black and white thinking, I'm not saying he has a terrible swing either. There are a lot of good elements of his swing, a lot of great elements of his swing. You can see there's no flip in his swing. Look at this. Look how long the back arm and bat stay in alignment. So that to me tells me that he's using a lot of his body rotation to hit the ball rather than back arm exertion. Having said that, I would just like to see a little less back arm exertion. Now people will say, well, you just said he doesn't use, I didn't mean he doesn't use any back arm exertion. It's just he's using more of his body rotation and not so much of his back arm exertion. But he's still got some back arm exertion going on here. And you can see he kind of gets a little, you know, crunched there at contact, right? But again, still a beautiful action, very lead arm dominant in his action, great looking swing. As far as what his dad said about going the other way, again, this is going to reinforce in swing instruction. People are going to say, it's going to validate for a lot of people that the efficacy of having a practice routine where you're trying to go the other way. I just think that that's one of the bad teachings out there in swing instruction, despite the fact that a World Series MVP did it. I wanted to include Matt Olson in here too, because Matt Olson to me has a little bit better of an action, and you know, his home run production is better. Let's look at, I think Freddie Freeman topped out at 38 homers. I mean, for his size, that's probably the minimum. Like, if I were to work with him, I would hope to see that would be the minimum amount of home runs that he would hit a year. 38 homers. But that's his max at 6'5", 220. Let's look at Matt Olson. Matt Olson, to be fair, not even close in the OPS plus category. He's got a 118 OPS plus compared to 142 of Freddie Freeman. Again, I think Freddie Freeman probably has outstanding hand-eye coordination, outstanding pitch recognition. When I see a guy who hits for better average, I tend to think he's just putting the bat on the ball more often and squaring it up more often. And to me, yes, that has definitely something to do with swing mechanics, but it's more a factor of hand-eye coordination and pitch recognition. And to work on pitch recognition for you guys out there, I don't think there's really any other way, any better way to do it than to just see live pitches. Like, it's really that simple. We don't see enough live pitches out there in our baseball culture. So Matt Olson topped out at 54 homers and hit 39 homers one year. So he averages 40 homers a year, whereas Freddie Freeman averages 27. And they're about the same size. Both of them are lead arm dominant, so they both have that going for them. I just think, both guys are falling into this conventional instruction and of throwing the hands out at the ball and halting or slowing down the body rotation. This idea that pulling the shoulder open is a bad thing in baseball swing instruction is absolutely ludicrous. And I hope to see that in swing instruction we advance at least enough to where all these silly myths, going the other way, don't pull the front shoulder, don't drag the barrel, are seen for what they are, which is just myths. But you can see Matt Olson, more lead arm dominant than Freddie Freeman, but still has that kind of look where he's looking great up to this point, and then he starts to halt the body rotation and get the hands out there a little bit too much. But still a great swing. Matt Olson also seems to have the tendency to be able to be more connected at contact. I don't want to force more connection at contact. You guys have heard me say that. But if I did work with Freddie Freeman, I would be looking for a little bit more connection for him to be comfortable with a more connected position at contact. And how would I do that? Just lots of swings with the lead arm. You want to feel the lead shoulder being the engine of the swing. That's what you want to feel like. That is where the kind of the force is coming from. You're feeling the stretch and exertion mostly in that lead shoulder, upper back part of the body. So next topic I want to cover, Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan, man, this is back when guys didn't even lift weights, right? And people say, well, what's wrong with lifting weights? There's nothing wrong. In fact, no, I'm sorry. Lifting weights I do have a problem with. But this is back, let's just say, when they didn't try to build muscle, okay? There's nothing wrong with building muscle. I think all of you out there should be trying to build muscle as long as it doesn't damage your joints. But what's great about looking at guys who didn't build muscle is that now we can see how the swing factored in more than anything else. It's hard in the steroid era. It's hard to start sifting through, okay, who took steroids and how much. I mean, guys doubled and tripled their home run production in the steroid era. So it really makes finding the best swings kind of confusing. But Morgan was a 160-pound hitter, and let's look at his stats. I mean, they're pretty amazing for a 160-pound guy. Won the MVP award back-to-back. I think he's only one of like a dozen guys to do that or so. Yeah, he won it in 1975 and 76. So Morgan had an OPS plus, career OPS plus of 132. He hit roughly 16 homers a year, and he weighed 160. Was 5'7", 160. To me, that's the kind of guy that I really want to look at. That is so impressive to me. And that's when I want to see, what does this guy do mechanically? And his swing is actually, to me, very Griffey-like. The only thing is he didn't finish like Griffey. And I want to point out this move that he did with his back arm. See that move? interesting to me. You know, once you see lead arm dominance, you start to see signs of it everywhere. And to me, I wonder if that is some sort of mechanism of his to kind of loosen the back arm, to not make it so tight. And maybe that helped him out. He was lead arm dominant as it is. He threw with his right arm. But just that move that was so characteristic of Joe Morgan, I wonder if that was almost like a trigger to kind of loosen that back arm a little even more. So let's take a look at his swing. Look at that move right there. Look at that back elbow just drop to his side. That's not a forced movement. When I first started teaching, I thought that back elbow dropping to the side was something that I had to force guys into. That's back when I was, I had fallen into the trap of thinking that you should force movements. That back arm is falling to the side because it's basically taking the structure of the swing that the lead arm would take all by itself. And so it remains very loose. It's just not overtaking the swing like so many guys do who have dominant back arms, coordinated back arms that want to push and flip. So there you can see, look how nice and connected he is. That back arm is probably at a 90-degree angle right there. And the only difference really between him and Griffey would be he kind of lets go real early and starts running sooner than Griffey. Kind of like Griffey's dad did. What I would want if I worked with a guy that looked like this, I would just want him to complete his swing a little bit more. Just don't get so concerned about heading to first base so soon. There's a home run. Reggie Jackson, so upset. Oh, this is an awesome looking swing. This is a secondary cushion by Joe Morgan. Watch this move. We'll watch it in regular motion. There you saw it in regular motion. Let's see it again. Regular motion here, and then we'll check it out in slow motion. So there you can see, it's barely detectable, the secondary cushion, by people who don't know to look for it. But you can see, look at how he cushions and keeps that hip closed. Now, it's okay if you're cushioning and you happen to open a little bit. That's just fine. But he stays real nice and closed. He doesn't lose any of that rotational power. That's probably ideal. If you're going to secondary cushion, what does that mean? That means he picked up the breaking ball like right out of the pitcher's hand. And so he was already striding, but he's saying to himself, okay, that's fine. I'm going to stride. I'm going to grab a little bit more energy from the ground. I'm not going to open up. And then I'm just going to explode and rotate. And he hits a home run there. The first time you guys hit a home run off a secondary cushion, you stole one from the pitcher. And you are in a new level, in my mind, of hitting. Here he is again. Again, you can see how early he lets go and just kind of doesn't allow his body to complete the rotation all the way through. Let's talk about another guy who, like Morgan, is dominant in his lead arm, Graig Nettles. Graig Nettles weighed 180. And he hit a home run every 23.04 at-bats. Morgan hit a home run every 34.62. Nettles is the better pound-for-pound hitter, according to the pound-for-pound equation. But, both guys, very impressive. To hit a home run every 23.04 at-bats, weighing 180, like Graig Nettles, is very impressive. And then hitting one every 34.62 at-bats, weighing 160. For Joe Morgan is extremely impressive. Let's look at Nettles' swing. very much looks like Morgan. There you can see, look at that move right there. That's a key move. The barrel dropping. This is due to lead arm dominance, to feeling more of the lead side, the upper back of the lead side, powering the swing, really. And the back arm not overexerting. It's that combination that you need. They have to go hand in hand. And look at this. The barrel dropping even below the hands. This is a no-no in terms of conventional swing instruction. There's no problem with that. You see many of the guys, of the best pound-for-pound hitters, have this position. There you can see, nice connection there at contact. The back arm is loose and relaxed. I like to see the back arm just kind of hanging down, and the shoulder, too, of the back arm just hanging loose, rather than up like this. When I see this, I know that the back arm exerted and the hitter's running out of room. I like how hard Nettles swung on every pitch. Both guys, like I said, were lead arm dominant, and that no doubt was a key to their success. Let's take a look at one more thing. Craig Biggio and Mike Cameron. These are guys who batted right-handed but had dominance in their lead arm. This is very rare. You don't see this very often in baseball. In fact, there are only 7 guys, many of you guys have heard me say this before, 7 guys in Major League Baseball history with 3,000 or more at-bats who batted from the right side but threw lefty. They are Ricky Henderson, Jimmy Ryan, Rube Bressler, Cleon Jones, Hal Chase, Cody Ross, Ryan Ludwig, and Johnny Cooney. Johnny Cooney was a part-time pitcher. The OPS plus among these guys is 114. Very impressive stats from just the 7 guys who batted righty and threw lefty. Now Biggio didn't throw lefty, but he did right with his left hand. So to me, righting is just a little bit more important for the coordination of an arm in terms of lead arm dominance or back arm dominance than throwing. There you can see that back arm is not exerting all that much, right? Biggio is number 711 on the pound-for-pound list. Weighed 185, hit a home run every 37.37 at-bats. What I'm looking for here is, obviously I'm looking for a good position to start the swing, and this is decent. The hands are trailing the body. Of course, I like to see the barrel flatten a little bit more. I like to see the lead arm, maybe a little bit more lead arm compression. But what I really like to see through contact is that the player isn't sort of halting his body rotation here and letting the arms fire out. And Biggio doesn't do that so much. He's rotating the body into contact. And then you can see the back arm and bat in alignment after contact. And there he is righting with his left hand. By the way, probably the two best hitting pitchers in the past 30, 40, 50 years, Madison Bumgarner and Mike Hampton, they also threw with their left hand and batted righty. Not a coincidence. Another guy who wrote with his left arm but batted righty, Mike Cameron. Let's take a look at a home run from Mike Cameron. Mike Cameron is number 487 on the pound-for-pound list, so a little better than Craig Biggio. By the way, guys, just being on the pound-for-pound list is super impressive. It's the top, basically at the top 1,000 or so guys on my pound for pound list, and you can get that when you order the Swing Like Griffey book at theswingmechanic.com. But here you can see what I like, a little different positioning here. Yeah, I'd like the hands maybe a little farther away from the body, the barrel a little flatter. But the hands are trailing. This is a good position. The hands are trailing the body rotation. And then he's rotating into contact. Beautiful connection of the back arm here. Had he been a little bit more connected to start the swing, I think he could be a little bit more connected in that lead arm at this point in the swing. And there he is, writing with his left hand. You know, a lot of you guys are stuck inside. Check out the back arm trainer at theswingmechanic.com. You know, spend hours and hours this winter just working that back arm in the right way. Get the lead arm training bat. Swing with just your lead side. Feel the engine of the swing being that lead side, the lead side shoulder, the upper back of the lead side. And by the time it's springtime, you'll have that ingrained. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.